Hello, I'm Brandon.
Hi, I'm Ada.
And this is the second in our series of movie reviews. Today it's Monsters University. We just got back from that. We were the only adults there that didn't bring children, so go us.
Woo! We're probably the only ones who remember going to the first film, because it didn't seem like anyone caught some of the stuff that was in the film from the first one. So
Yeah, I was 11 when the first one came out.
And I was 13.
And so we've kind of grown up watching Monsters Incorporated, and I gotta say that I was not disappointed at all by Monsters University.
I really honestly thought it was a great compliment to the first movie. I didn't feel like it overshadowed the first movie at all. I feel like they really tried to keep it on par, and it wasn't like Cars 2, which to me felt like it was forced for money reasons. I feel like they actually did Monsters University because they wanted to, and they loved those characters. And the characters in the movie were just amazing. They're so good.
Yep. Mike and Sully, the characters we all know and love, just every bit as good as they were in the first one. Great chemistry. When Mike met Sully, and yeah, they were just every bit as great together as they were in Monsters Incorporated. Even though in this one it starts out with them being rivals, that's still great chemistry that they've got.
I love that you start out with little baby Mike Wazowski. He's like totally this cute little thing, and he wants to be a scarer, and we already know with the first movie how that turns out for him. But I never felt like throughout the whole movie that, even though I knew what was going to happen to them later in life, that it ruined it. And Mike was so well done. The little retainer they added for him, and both the feel of the movie reminds me a lot of those old like 80s films like Revenge of the Nerds, where you had like the one guys who were the down and outers, the weirdos, the nerds, like, and the jocks. And the jocks in this movie were such 80s jocks. It was hilarious. Like, they capture the other team's animal, for goodness sakes. Like, that's so classic old nerdy college movie. I loved it.
Yeah. Like every college movie, you gotta have a creepy initiation scene in the dark, but that was definitely made to be very funny.
They did a great job, and that whole group of actors with all the different monsters that were added to this really terrible, nerdy, weirdo fraternity were all fantastic. They each were complement to each other. You had like the old guy who was coming back to college after, I don't know, 20 years with the mustache, and he has the voice, whoever is doing him, I didn't catch the actor, but he was fantastic. And also loved Art. I loved him. He's the hippie, like, he's a new age monster major, like, so steals almost every scene he is in. He's so good.
Story-wise, I definitely liked it, and I loved all the different twists and turns that we got to see. Again, you got everything you need in a college movie. You got some scenes involving cheating. You got a whole study montage. Some people get kicked out. Some people get let back in. And yeah, it was. I think she's got it right. It was pretty much very much an 80s college movie.
What I really loved, and another character who really stole the show, though, was Helen Mirren's character as the dean of the university. I don't like bugs, like centipedes and stuff. They're really creepy. And she's like a centipede and like a dragon and like a scary school teacher all mixed into one. Like, I thought of her as the very scary version of Snape when he's a boggart.
A boggart.
Boggart. When he's in the dress. But imagine that, instead of it being funny, being terrifying with like a centipede tail. Like,
I don't know. Snape's pretty terrifying even with Neville's grandma's clothes.
She stole it. There wasn't one line that she delivered that was done poorly at all. It was great. And again, the story was fantastic. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I wasn't bored. I loved the short before. The blue umbrella looked so realistic.
Very, very impressive.
It was so on par. It was better than almost anything I've seen in the last little bit as far as getting a realistic animation. And from beginning to end, I was not bored. I didn't feel like the story was really disjointed because I'm used to those type of college story films. If you're not used to those, you might not kind of understand how it all works out. But it's a great introductory to kids to those type of stories, and it's so fun for adults. They have these like old devices, like this. The mom has those little thin, like they're like this thin.
Here's
camera.
a picture of it.
Yeah, like camera thing that you do this and you take the pictures on, like the old like Kodak thing. I had one of those when I was like a kid. And she uses that, and I just died. And I know none of the kids in the audience got that, but there were these nice little touches like that. I loved it.
Yep. It's definitely good to see a college movie that has just about everything you can ask for except the alcohol.
It was really nice. It's a great family film. It's great if you love Monsters, Inc. It's such a good compliment. The music's great. They have their own little university songs. These, college pep songs. You have every college character you can think of. You have every character you can think of. They bring Randall in there, and you find out why Randall and Sully and Mike don't get along. And you find out just all these little things that you never really knew the background of. And you thought you did, but it totally changes your perspective.
There's even one thing I found out that I didn't even know there was a background on. I thought it was just something natural. And anyone who's seen the movie so far will probably know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like the one other thing I wanted to point out too is they added nice touches of things that you just have to kind of pay attention of, just in the backgrounds. There's characters from the first film in the background scenes, not just the characters they bring back to kind of show off. There's actually little background characters, like the guy who gets the socks attached to him, and then they do that whole code and they have to cut all his fur off. He makes more than one appearance in this. You just have to be paying attention to it.
I definitely loved that they added this look to one of the characters.
I would honestly rate this at probably 91, 92 out of 100. I don't think it's absolutely perfect. For me, it's my favorite Pixar sequel. I love it more than Toy Story 2 and 3, which is blasphemy to some people, but I think that it is such a perfect complement to the first film. And I'm glad they waited to do it until they actually had a good story for it, instead of rushing and trying to get a sequel out to make more money.
Yeah. I'd say I'd have to give this movie about an 85 out of 100. It's great family entertainment, highly recommended. So that was Monsters University. Tune in next time when we do our review of... I'm going to put an annotation here when we figure out what the next review will be.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys next time. It might just be Brandon doing it, but thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.